The painting that watches you back, the mystery of Las Meninas. Most paintings ask you to look at them. This one asks something far stranger. Take a moment and imagine yourself standing inside a quiet room in a royal palace. A little princess is surrounded by her attendants. A painter is working on a giant canvas. A sleepy dog lies on the floor, completely unaware of the people around him. At first, everything feels perfectly ordinary. But then you notice something unsettling. Almost everyone in the room is looking in the same direction. Not at the princess. Not at each other. They're looking straight toward you. And that's the moment this painting stops being a picture and starts becoming a puzzle. A puzzle that has fascinated historians, artists, philosophers, and millions of visitors for almost 4 centuries. Because the longer you stare at this masterpiece, the more it begins to feel as if you're the one being observed. This is Las Meninas, painted in 1656 by Diego Velázquez. And many people believe it's one of the greatest paintings ever created, not because of what it shows, but because of what it makes you realize. At first glance, Las Meninas appears to capture an ordinary moment inside the Spanish royal palace. In the center stands a young girl wearing a shimmering silver dress. She is Infanta Margarita Teresa, the 5-year-old daughter of King Philip IV of Spain. Even though she is surrounded by several people, your eyes immediately find her. It's almost as if light itself has chosen her. On either side, her ladies-in-waiting lean toward her with careful attention. One gently offers her a small cup on a golden tray. Nearby, 2 court dwarfs stand beside a large sleeping dog. Behind them, members of the royal household quietly speak among themselves. Nothing appears dramatic. Nobody seems to be posing. Instead, it feels like someone interrupted an ordinary day. And that's exactly what makes the scene feel so alive. But then your eyes drift toward the left side of the painting. There stands the artist himself, Diego Velázquez. Brush in one hand, palette in the other, standing confidently in front of an enormous canvas. A canvas so large that we can only see its back. Whatever he is painting remains hidden from us. And that single decision creates the painting's first great mystery. Who is standing in front of him? Who is important enough to hold the artist's full attention? The answer isn't inside the painting. It's outside it. Or at least, it appears to be. Look closely at the faces. The princess isn't looking at her attendants. Several members of the room aren't looking at each other either. Instead, they all seem to be staring beyond the edge of the canvas, toward someone standing exactly where you're standing now. For hundreds of years, viewers ask the same question. Who are they looking at? The answer is hidden so quietly that many visitors completely miss it. On the back wall hangs a small mirror. It isn't large. It isn't bright. And yet it changes everything. Inside that mirror appear 2 faint reflections. A man and a woman, King Philip IV and Queen Mariana. Suddenly the entire room makes sense. Velázquez isn't painting the princess. He's painting the king and queen. They're standing outside the picture, exactly where the viewer stands. Which means, for a brief moment, the painting tricks your brain into becoming part of its world. You're no longer just looking at the royal family. You're standing where the royal family once stood. Every pair of eyes inside the room is looking directly toward you because, in that moment, you have taken the king's place. Very few paintings had ever attempted something so bold. Even today, it feels surprisingly modern. But Las Meninas isn't only a clever visual illusion. It's also deeply personal. By the time Velázquez painted this masterpiece, he had spent more than 30 years serving the Spanish court. He was respected, trusted, admired by the king himself. Yet despite all of his success, society still viewed painters as craftsmen rather than intellectuals. Painting was considered manual labor, not a noble profession. Artists created beauty, but they were rarely treated as equals by the aristocracy. Velázquez wanted to change that. He wanted the world to recognize that painting required imagination, intelligence, and vision, not just skilled hands. So inside Las Meninas, he quietly makes a remarkable statement. He paints himself standing confidently among the royal family, not hidden in the background, not as a servant, but as someone who belongs beside kings. It was an incredibly bold message for its time, and perhaps the most powerful argument any painter had ever placed onto a canvas. Then comes another mystery, one that has inspired stories for centuries. Look closely at Velázquez's chest. You'll notice a bright red cross. It represents the prestigious Order of Santiago, one of the greatest honors a man could receive in Spain. The problem is, when Las Meninas was completed, Velázquez hadn't earned that honor yet. He would receive it several years later. So how did the cross appear in a painting that was already finished? No one knows for certain. According to a famous legend, after the artist died, King Philip IV personally picked up a brush and painted the red cross onto his loyal painter's chest. Imagine that for a moment. A king completing the final detail of his artist's masterpiece. Historians continue to debate whether this actually happened. Some believe Velázquez added the symbol after receiving the honor. Others think another court painter made the change later. Whatever the truth may be, the story survived because it perfectly captures what Las Meninas represents. Recognition, respect, and an artist finally receiving the status he had spent his entire life chasing. There's one final figure that many people overlook. At the very back of the room, an open doorway glows with warm light. Standing inside it is a man frozen in motion. One foot rests on a staircase. One hand holds back the curtain. Is he entering the room? Or leaving it? No one can say. Velázquez captured him between two moments. A single step that will never be completed. In many ways, that's exactly what this painting feels like. Nothing is fully finished. A conversation has paused. A gesture is stopped halfway. A drink is about to be accepted. The painter is about to make another brush stroke. Time itself seems suspended. For more than 350 years, every person inside this room has remained trapped inside the same silent second. Waiting, watching, never moving. So what is Las Meninas really about? Is it simply a portrait of a young princess? Is it secretly a portrait of the king and queen reflected in the mirror? Is it Velázquez declaring that artists deserve the same respect as royalty? Or is it something even stranger? A painting about seeing itself? A masterpiece that quietly turns every visitor into part of the artwork? Perhaps that's why it continues to fascinate people today. The French philosopher Michel Foucault devoted pages of analysis trying to explain it. Pablo Picasso became so captivated that he created dozens of his own interpretations. Generations of historians have studied every inch of the canvas. Yet no single explanation has ever satisfied everyone. And maybe that's the point. Some masterpieces aren't meant to provide answers. They're meant to keep asking questions. Today, Las Meninas hangs in Madrid's Prado Museum, where thousands of visitors stand before it every year. Many arrive expecting to see one of history's greatest paintings. They leave realizing something completely different. For a brief moment, the painting was looking back at them. Maybe that is Velázquez's greatest achievement. He didn't simply paint a royal family. He painted the experience of being seen. And nearly 400 years later, it still works. So the next time you see Las Meninas, don't just look at the painting. Pay attention to where everyone inside it is looking. Because you may discover that all along, the real subject of the masterpiece was you. If you enjoyed uncovering this mystery, let me know which detail surprised you the most. There are countless masterpieces hiding secrets in plain sight, and sometimes all it takes is looking a little closer to find them.